Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly energy report. My channeled messages from spirit and a few oracle cards because we all love the cards. I mean, honestly, when I was younger, I don't really need to use the cards, but I just love them because they're so pretty. And I got two more decks, so I'm probably going to do like a opening box or box unboxing. That's the word for them because they were super cute. I have not even opened the envelope that they came in. I still have them here. So I'll be opening them probably this week. Anyways, I had all of this stuff planned for today, but Spirit kind of hijacked my mind-based message and is replacing it with a heart-based message. And before I even jump into all of that, couple things. One, a few announcements. First of all, I am in the process of switching platforms as far as my website. So if you see any clunkiness in the next like month or so, that's probably why that is. If you need a session with me, you can message me on Facebook, you can email me, you can just all y'all know how to get a hold of me if you've been around a while. And my email and stuff and my website is in the blurb below. But for that, don't worry. You will find me. You can message, you can post below or whatever. So anyway, so let's see. Oh, hey, am I saying it right? Hey, is it Kaylee or Shaylee? But because my name is spelled with one L, so I'm like a stickler for names and pronouncing them correctly. So I want to make sure that I say hello. So hello back. Welcome to the channel. I'm so excited. If you're new here, I'm Soul Coach Michele. I am a co-creative life coach and your friendly neighborhood superwoo. So today I'm going to kind of jump in and just say one other announcement. If you are a VIP of mine, which what that means is you have been a one-on-one client of mine in the last year and or you did your 2023 New Year's reading, which is the annual New Year's reading, 14 cards, your personal map. Shaylee was right. Thank you so much. It's Shaylee. Oh, yay. I love when I get it right. Well, big hugs and kisses and smooches and love to you, Shaylee. Welcome to the channel. So happy you're here. Hey, Rose, how are you? Good morning. Saying hello to everyone. So if you are a VIP, so that means, like I said, if you have been a one-on-one client with me for the last year and anytime in the last year, or you got your 2023 New Year's reading done last year, you are technically on my VIP list for the New Year's reading. So if that is you, Rose, that's you. Since you're here, I'm going to let you know you're on the list. Look in your email. Don't delete my email because this is a special, well, not so secret anymore email that I am sending to you guys. I'm opening up the New Year's calendar super early because last year people were snatching spots and then other people said, I didn't see it and whatever. So I'm telling you right here and now, if you would like to schedule your 14 card New Year's reading. So what that is, it's a mixed deck reading. So I have it says Hero's Journey on the front, but since I'm a lady, well, no, I'm abroad. Since I'm abroad, I call it the Shiro's Journey. And that's that card deck. And the other card deck that's involved is the animal deck. This one that I use normally. And then the deck that we use for the main batch of cards is an angel tarot deck. So it's oracle and tarot mixed together. So we have the way it works is your Shiro's Journey card is the overarching, like, where am I in that Shiro's Journey? So if you've ever studied Joseph Campbell, and where you are in your spiritual journey for the next year, what's the theme, then the medicine that'll support you in that journey is these cards. This is the way, and I actually designed this reading. So like this layout I've designed it. So that's why I know what it means off the top of my head. So, and then the tarot, angel tarot, which I like them because they're a little more gentle than traditional tarot, are going to give you the overarching map for your next year. So right now, if you are a VIP from now until the 11th of November, you'll get an email, I think today or tomorrow, and in there will be a link for you to schedule your thing. So here's the other thing: if you're not on the VIP list, when come November 11th, which is when my live New Year's reading for the collective will be, um, after that's over, in that blurb and an email after, you will be invited to schedule your appointment, and then you'll be on the VIP list for next year. That's how it works. Anyway, so just letting you guys know to be on the lookout for that. So those are my two announcements. And as always, below, if you are new here and you want to jump on the mailing list to make sure you know when everything's going on, please go ahead and do that. And then also, I think there's my I think it's a 7 day the 7 steps to manifesting your dream life. The mini course is there. I'm actually working on revamping that as a group program. So it used to be a group program many moons ago, and I'm just adding more fun stuff, like deepening everything in that. So look for that next year. But anyways, let's talk about this week. Okay. So what I was going to do, and by the way, it's Nashville. Allergies are crazy, so I apologize. I know I shouldn't do this on live, whatever, but I would rather do this than have my nose drip because that's really gross. Anyway, so this week I was like in my head, I was going to talk about, Saturn retrograde is ending. It ends, I think, next week, like 23rd. So like right around like new moon is a couple days later, like, and still, you're still in shadow. We're still in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. So there's still a bunch of retrograde energy going on. And I was like all about I'm gonna talk about this. Well, message after message after message, and I feel like spirit was like clunking me over the head, was really more about the way to navigate all this stuff is to get out of the head. We often, and this is where I say I do, it's a conscious channeling, because like when you watch Abraham or oh gosh, I can't cry on or any of them. And they're like this with their eyes closed and whatever. So conscious channeling is when I coexist with, I call it source energy. I don't have a fancy name like any of these other folks. To me, my belief system is it's all energy, it's all source energy. So I always say I just channel source energy, or if there's angels around or whatever. But as it comes through for me, it's source energy, and source energy is inviting me to share with you that we need to get out of our mind for the next week or so. And in fact, the next week through the Mars Gemini, I think the Mars is going, I guess, see, this is where the conscious thing where I throw stuff in is Mars is going retrograde in Gemini in the next couple of weeks. Saturn's going direct. Mercury has gone direct. We had, I think, Pluto go direct. There was so there's a lot of stopping and starting. Like if you've ever been in a stick shift car with somebody that doesn't really know how to drive a stick shift, that's kind of how it feels, because you feel like you're going forward, but then you're not. And then you kind of get jostled around a whole lot. And that's kind of what's going on right now. But I will say, I don't know about y'all, but I feel better. But okay, Spirit's saying, stop rambling, Michelle, about your weekend and tell them what I'm going to tell you. So basically, what Spirit is telling me to share with you is we need to stop and get out of our headspace, because we try to think everything. As human beings, we're taught thinking is the only way to be. That is why we get so caught up in, how do I do this? How do I do this? Because you're trying to think your way out of something that really doesn't need thinking. We're taught to think, we're taught to write, and I do worksheets with my clients. But I also invite people to sit in their heart center. Right now, this week especially, it's going to be all about really sitting in the heart center. The way that I will share to do this, that I do, is I turn on some nice meditation music. Maybe I should write a meditation for this at some point. But the way that I'm doing it is that, yeah, thanks, Shilly. It goes retro on the 30th. Mars does. So there's a lot of this going on. That's the feeling. And so anyways, to get into your heart center, what I often do is I inhale through the nose deeply into, and I used to be a singer, so diaphragmatic breathing is what I lean into. Highly recommend this. If you don't know, Google that. But it's breathing, like when people say breathe into the belly, that's what they mean. So you're going to breathe in through the nose, into the belly, exhale audibly through the mouth. And what I do is then I invite myself to allow my body to soften. And then I do the same thing, invite my mind to soften. And then I put my hand right here and I do a third one, and I invite myself to drop into my heart center. And then I continue in a breathing pattern that feels good to me. And I imagine that as I inhale, I'm sitting on a beach. and I take the wave and I bring it forward, and maybe it touches my toes or my feet or whatever. And then as I exhale, it goes out. And this is my focus so that I can stay focused when my mind gets kind of swirly and I get too thinky. And I kind of do that. And then I invite myself to feel into what's going on. And the only way to to really get out of that overthinkingness is to kind of calm it all down like that. And then invite yourself to ask your heart center, what do I need? Not what do I do? What do I need? What do I need? Because in that space, it will guide you, especially through all this stuff. Like right now, the whole Saturn retrograde thing is people keep talking about they want to hide under the bed for these retrogrades and oh thank God they're over soon. But the fact is that it's an invitation for you to look at the structures, and especially because it's we're kind of traveling in a Libra house right now. It's all about relationships and not just romantic ones. Okay. I want to be really clear about that. This is where it's like saying, where are the structures imbalanced in all of my relationships? It might even be the relationship to yourself. Okay. So it might be at work, it might be with friendships, with family, with yourself, with how you deal with money, with how you deal with love of yourself. So, with that, I am instructed to share with you another part of this heart business is to really step into the self love category. Now, yeah, that's mani petties and all this. So you can find all that on Pinterest. Self love is accepting. I love and accept myself in this moment as I am, even if it's messy, even if I'm like having an angry, fearful moment, even if I don't feel like I'm my best self today, even if I'm PMSing, even if you're like my age, you're going through the perimenopause and you're like having PMS on acid, even if I don't got no makeup on today, I love and accept myself, even if I'm not the size that or the shape that I want to be today, even if I burnt my toast this morning. Okay. Love yourself. That is the self. I love and accept myself. That's where we need to be. And that's what I'm going to invite you to do this for the energy of this week, because it's really interesting because I feel like it's going to feel less intense than last week. I get that feeling in the last and less intense actually from the last 2 weeks. Um but in all honesty, it's still we still got some stuff going on, but energetically speaking, the way to navigate all of this is to really be in the heart center, okay? So, what we're going to do, I'm going to shuffle these and we're going to our question for spirit this week based around all of that cuz like that all came this morning. And don't think I'm like, over here like Zen Buddha under the fig tree. I'm over here trying to think of things and content and all the stuff that we talk about when we're like, making videos and stuff. And, I have to get back to my video editor who's, because I'm going to start doing the, I don't know if you call them non-live uploaded videos. So I have two that are in the hopper about crystal grids and some art that I designed to use to make the crystal grid on top of, and she's editing it for me. So, I have all that kind of stuff going on too. But like today I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about, structure and all this crap. And spirit's like, no, we're going to talk about this. So like, that's another thing I want to invite you to is to listen to that small, still voice, because that's going to guide you this week. And that small, still voice kind of resides in that heart center. Okay. So that's kind of what the messages are, is to sit in your heart center this week. And it's going to be a challenge because you're going to see a lot of stuff that you're going to be like, what do I do here? What do I do here? Let me think my way out of this problem. And honestly, if you get into your heart, you realize, oh, that's not a problem. It's an invitation. And it's an invitation for me to feel. And here's lastly, as far as message goes, folks like to ask, how do I clear this stuff? How do I clear these old things? How do I clear whatever? And what I'm being told to, and yeah, there are clearing things. Like I think those of you have that are watching that have worked with me, we've done clearing statements, we've done tapping stuff, we've done the rain exercise. But what has to happen, if you notice, when we do those things, you have to feel into the emotion of the situation, not relive the situation because that can be traumatizing. We don't want to do that. Just the feelings, like address them, acknowledge them, observe them. Because if you can't do that, if you're looking just at the situation, the minutia of the situation versus the energy of the situation, you can't process what's going on. And you have to call it by name so you can process it. Because once we call it by name, it no longer has power over us. Okay. So when we do that, say, it is safe for me to be in my feelings, not so much as to sit in them in a way that is like you're sitting in, mud and getting stuck there, but more sit there for a moment and say, what am I feeling? When I think about this situation, what feelings come up for me? And then it is safe for me to release these. But we have to call them by name and stop resisting and fighting bad feelings so that you can say to yourself, okay, this is where I am. Because, like, say you're going to go on a trip and you're trying to map it out on your GPS. If you don't have a starting point, you'll never get where you're going. So you have to start in processing, feeling, identifying, accepting, investigating, and then processing so you can nurture yourself all the feelings, even the bad ones and the good ones too, because you might even process good feelings. We can't sit in, you know, rose-colored glasses land forever either. It's to if to move forward, there's just processing. It's easier to process good feelings because your body kind of holds on to them and lets them go. But otherwise, usually our body holds on to the yucky ones and we want to move those through. So we have to find them, identify where am I feeling this? And then kind of move that through and say, it's safe for me to let this go. Okay. So, with all of that in mind, we want to ask Spirit, so what do we need to know for this week to support us? What medicine do we need to help, you know, be more heart centered for ourselves, more self compassionate, more, and this is, aw, I love it. Okay, sorry. I get all like, aw, when the fun cards come up. Okay, next card. And ooh, they're all upside down cards. So this is why. Okay. Yeah, of course. And that's so funny. I saw 3 deers on my walk at like 6 p.m. And I live in an urban area. I mean, I live in like a suburb, but and technically I am metro, Nashville. So I'm in a city. Anyway, so I love this. So when the card is upside down, I want to be really clear for anybody who's watching how I read. I'm not like gloom and doom when it's upside down. Holy shit. No. When it's upside down, I know that it means, just from past experience of doing this for a long time, it's either I didn't know that, I knew it and I forgot it, and I've not been applying it to my practices as I navigate life. Or three, I know that and I don't wanna. This one I feel like is a combination of I know and I don't wanna, but also I forgot that I knew that. So it's bee spirit, isn't honey bee? Yay. So bee spirit is the sweet results await. Because I think the message I'm getting from this, the reason it's upside down is that we are forgetting that when we are compassionate with self, when we are kind with self, when we are heart centered with self, all of the stuff that we're like, why is that person being such an asshole? Right? Because we have mirrored backs to us, people not treating us well, not because we attract, I don't deserve to be treated well. I mean, some people you might have that going on, but in general, when we are more compassionate with self, that stuff goes away. When you say, I love and accept myself just as I am, as I look in the mirror, I look in the mirror and I see this beautiful, miraculous human being. And I love and accept myself even without any makeup. I love and accept myself if I didn't sleep good last night. I love and accept myself if I'm sick today. I love and accept myself, okay? All of it. Because once we're compassionate with self, we can be more compassionate and kind to others. And we attract more compassionate and kindness into our experience because that's where we're dwelling. And so the sweetness awaits. And I think, we live in a world today where sometimes compassion and kindness is just everybody expects it, but nobody's willing to give it, which is really kind of just like banging your head against the wall and saying, I have a headache. And when the doctor says, well, then stop banging your head on the wall, you're like, okay. And then you go and bang your head on the wall again and still continue what is going on to give you a headache. So, what I'm going to encourage everyone that watches this, every single day this week, do at least one kindness for yourself, one kindness for somebody else. Start spreading that, throwing the pebble in the water and letting that spread, okay? That's how we're going to do this. That's how we're going to navigate this. The compassion and kindness movement. Let's just do that. That's what being in your heart center is about. That's what self love. I want you to look in the mirror every single day, put your hand on your heart and look in and say, I love and accept myself just as I show up in this moment. Okay. That's what we're doing this week. Now, what are the medicines that we want? And again, we have another upside down card, which is owl. Owl, reminding you, and I think part of it, and it is you see clearly now. I think it's upside down because you're forgetting that it is that easy. It is that easy. Is just to say, when you feel yourself getting into the blame, shame, and guilt game over spilt milk, over past experiences, over dropping, like I think I talked about this months ago, and I dropped a big thing of paprika on the floor. It went everywhere, and I just was like gonna cuss myself. And then I did it again and a couple months later. And if anybody has ever dropped like a powdered spice, it's a hot freaking mess. And I was like, you know what? It is what it is, and I'm gonna just go vacuum it up, and that's gonna be it. And like being that compassionate, just letting it's like I love and accept myself in this moment, even when I drop paprika all over the kitchen. So kind of in those moments, and I know that sounds mundane, but it is in the mundane that we grow, you know? We're growing and we're loving ourselves. So learning to love yourself and really getting clear on that as the way. I mean, I hate to sound like the Mandalorian, it is the way, but it is the way. That's how we start shifting. It's not I'm going to go get a pedicure or massage. Those are like 3D external things. This is all about reminding yourself it is so easy to say yes to you. And that might mean saying no to somebody else, and that's okay. That's okay. We got to start saying yes to self more so we're really clear about what we want, what we don't want, and how we're going to show up for ourselves. And then it's deer spirit. Now, it was funny. I ran into three little deer. Well, one big deer and two little deers last week, twice. So I was looking that up because it was a mama and a baby or two babies. And Buddy and I, Buddy the puppy of light, Buddy and I were walking and and literally I never walk outside around 6. Usually I'm making dinner or something, but Darren was gonna be home a little bit later. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna take Buddy for a walk because I just felt called to go for a walk. So I did. And as I'm walking, now mind you, I live in urban Nashville. Okay. I'm not like out in the country, in surrounding areas. And this deer was up in front of my friend's house that lives in the near me, one of my neighbors. And I've never seen a deer up like that. Usually they're down by the creek in the neighborhood and they kind of like stay further away. But this one deer, and he's looking at me. So we kind of kept walking. And of course, Buddy, puppy of light, he's just like a spazzy puppy of light because he's border collie. He's jumping all over the place. And I finally get him to calm down. And we walk over there, and that deer just stood there for a while until he like kind of noticed we were coming, and he kind of didn't run even. He kind of trotted back to his mama, and the three of them kind of paralleled us as we walked. They walked with us. And so I kind of was like, okay, I was talking to them and took some pictures. And then that night, when Darren did come home, we went and grabbed dinner. We come home and the deer are up by our house. So I'm like, okay, y'all are trying to tell me something. And it's bring a gentle touch. Bring a gentle touch. So when we are trying to be more compassionate with ourselves, that's part of it. That's the message. Whenever you feel like you're doing something and you're beating yourself up, bring a gentle, compassionate touch back into the conversation within yourself. Stop beating yourself up. If that itty bitty shitty committee gets loud, just kind of give it a hug and say, it's okay. It's okay that we messed up. It's fine. I'm just going to keep going. So this week, what I wanted to share with you is that whole spirit. Well, actually, spirit was wanting to share. They were getting real kind of bossy. And so the whole thing around really bringing the heart back into the mix. I think everybody is so in head, especially in the US here. I don't know where everybody's watching from. I know that there's folks in Australia and folks in Europe and things in here in the US. But, we're kind of heading into election season. So I'm going to encourage people to stay off the news. Personally, you know who you're voting for. Make sure you are registered. Go to headcount.org and make sure, because like stuff has been kind of weird lately, but make sure you're registered. Make sure you know which polling place is yours because ours has changed like 3 times in 12 years and I haven't moved. And then really kind of feel into uh, what do I want to show up for myself? And then, I would do research on my own, not watch the TV or the ads or people being ugly to each other, and then do your thing and then go back to your life. I would stay away from the news lately. It's been a shit show. So, you know, any of that kind of stuff that'll kind of knock you out of alignment and get you back into your head, which, kind of just too much going on here. Just every time you feel yourself too far up in your head, get grounded, get a grounding mat, do some meditation, go outside and walk and put your feet in the grass if it's warm enough to still do that. Maybe eat some chocolate. Highly recommend the chocolate. And then just kind of get back in the heart center. Feel your heart center here, okay? And then really just get clear on how easy it is to be kind and loving to yourself. Because all you have to do is say to yourself, I love and accept myself. Even when you're being like mean to yourself, say, just stop. Activate that vagus nerve with a deep breath and say to yourself, preferably out loud, because that's vagus nerve as well. I love and accept myself in this moment just as I am. And just let that settle. Okay. So that's this week. So we have a bee spirit upside down, meaning the sweetness awaits, and reminding you staying kind and compassionate with self will bring the sweetness. And then we have owl to say it's that easy for reals. I know you're thinking, oh, it's so hard because I want to do. Mm-mm. It's time to just love yourself in the way that is accepting and loving of self, and then bringing a gentle touch to the whole prospect, to the whole thing. Ooh, there we go. Um, and that's for this week, okay? So again, I hope that was helpful for everyone. Try to keep these to 30 minutes so I don't just ramble on and on. But again, VIPs, be on the lookout in your email for my invitation to schedule your 2023 readings. Um, those I think will run from November to right before Christmas. Spirit keeps poking me to do at least a week in January, but I want to fill up those dates first, and then we'll see about January. But and what's going on, because I do have other stuff that I want to do in January with everybody, like intention setting and stuff like that. So there's that. And then again, if you are new and you have not signed up for the newsletter to be kept informed about like discount specials, classes, workshops, other fun stuff, make sure you check out the blurb below. Link is there for the newsletter. And then also, if you have not done the 7 steps or the Jumpstart Your Manifesting mini course, whatever I called it, I have no idea what I called it. But that's down there too. So you are welcome to join any of those. And other than that, I hope you have a great week. Fall back in love with yourself, fall back into love and acceptance of yourself. And I want to send out love and thank you, Shaylee and Rose, for joining me live. For those of you joining me for the replay, please feel free to like, subscribe, click the bell, all the good things, and comment below and let me know how you are going to love and accept yourself this week. So sending you so much love, so much light, so many blessings, abundance. I'll see you soon. Enjoy your week. Bye, y'all.